Hello, Junaid. It's such a pleasure to welcome you to this conversation with Media for Growth. Thank you for taking the time off, and your viewpoints on the subject of Indian OH will be most valuable. A warm welcome to you, Junaid.
Thank you. Monday morning is always a good, fresh start to the week, and I'm glad to be on this platform and talk to you. I mean, we've enjoyed talking to each other in the past. So
Absolutely, Junaid. The pleasure is entirely mine. Junaid, we are a country of almost 1.4 billion people, and with a larger number of them on the go. Yet, when we look at the Indian OH share of the ad pie, it is at best meager. Do you expect to see a sea change in the fortunes of Indian OH, and what needs to be done for that to happen?
Well, certainly this is going to change because of the sheer population, like you mentioned. We have a large population, and obviously then the footprint as well. The consumer movement, their journey, and we know that people want to be out of home, right? I mean, we have seen in the pandemic how people were stuck in one place, and somehow their life was also stuck. Movement is a part of human behavior, right? So if we capture people on the move, and we can identify them, follow them, and reach to them, that's where the audience measurement system comes in, right? That's the science. So definitely, and I think what needs to happen is it needs to move from fragmentation to synchronization, and digital will make that happen. Digitization is going to connect people, connect the signages, connect people, connect communication. It's going to be more, dynamic and instant. So the entire ecosystem is about to change. This is a very important time in OOH in India, where it's going to move from being commodity from space to it being value-added services. There's going to be so much more value because communication is going to become the key. Ideation is going to become the key. Innovation is going to become the key. Something that OOH in India has not learned. It's very new to the entire industry, right? So we're all going through that learning phase. The ones that have ideation at the backbone of their organization is going to be the forerunners.
Absolutely an exciting period it's going to be for the industry. And I remember you just mentioning that you have spent a certain number of years in this industry, but you believe your journey has just begun. So can you just tell us, what is that big excitement that you're really seeing for yourself as an organization and for that industry?
For me, I want to touch people. I don't want to just touch an audience. I want to touch people. I want to expand my thought and communicate it to the audience. For me, I want to make a social impact. I want to reach as many people as I can and embed my thought, the being that I am into human beings. So I'm more interested not in the money, but I'm more interested in how I can change a thought process through out-of-home communication. And this has been my intentions from the very beginning. I needed a purpose to be connected to this industry while it was static, because static is not so fun, right? You're still selling, there's not so much dynamism in it. But I remember when we did a campaign, a self-promotion campaign called the Billboard Talking Campaign about 10 years ago, where the billboard had to could speak something. Instead of a brand connected to it, we decided to create a campaign where the billboard, without any company, is speaking something. So we created a social campaign where billboards would speak according to the demographic. And from that moment on, I decided that imagine what we could do if we could reach out to millions of people to a digital medium. So since then, I have been on this path, and this is what we want to do, and we want to touch people, and we will continue to do that in any innovative way. And obviously then, so for me, I think that instead of trying to get people to see to you, you create communication where people already have a thought before they leave the home that what is it they're going to see on this billboard today. So somehow to change lives, to impact lives, that's what we intend to do.
Beautiful, Junaid. I think you touched upon three very important aspects. One, of course, is that of thought leadership. The second is that it has to be purpose-led. And third part is connecting with people. Beautifully put, Junaid.
Absolutely.
I want to just move on to another subject, which of course is very special to Roshan Space, which is that out of home is always understood or broadly put as an impact media. On the other side, we have spectacular media and iconic sites coming up. And Roshan Space has accorded a certain premium to establishing, iconic sites. The Bandra Focal is a case in point. That said, from your experience and from the business perspective, how are you seeing brand advertisers' response to being there on iconic sites or spectacular media? And we'd love to have your viewpoint on that.
Well, I'll give you an example. The other day I was talking to a client and they said, you've turned your billboards into a brand, right? Oh. So instead of a brand being recognized on a billboard, the billboards have turned into a brand now. And we've created space, which is, it's changed from push to pull. Mm-hmm. Our strategy is instead of pushing the billboards, we pull the clients. That's why we created these, iconic billboards. We want to, like I said before, that we want to create a medium where you don't have to find it. It's in front of you. It's right there. It's a stage. We're creating a stage for our clients, which is much needed. And not only that, it also impacts the OOH landscape. It impacts the environment. It creates a much more visually appealing environment, especially in a city like Mumbai, which is cluttered. We want to declutter it. So obviously anything that is larger than life, anything that is big but silent, that's out of home. It's big, it's massive, it's unswitchable, and it's silent. So this is a very unique medium, and we want to use it to its optimum. Whether it may be large or it may be central, whatever it may be, it will be something that is novelty. It's new, something new. We will keep creating these surprises, and clients want it, brands want it. They want large brands, international brands are looking for that kind of new space, unique positioning where their brand and the medium can complement each other.
Wonderful. I'm sure this is going to, only grow from here. I want to now come to the area of digital out-of-home advertising, which you've already mentioned. What we have seen in the last couple of years is that there is an accelerated digitalization of Indian OOH, which was not quite evident, say, a little earlier. Are you really excited about the DOH space, considering that much of your business had been in the traditional format space?
Well, we were traditional because the mindset was a little bit reluctant on changing in the industry, right? I've been using iPhone 1 since iPhone came in, since iPhone 1 to iPhone 13. I know we understand how digitalization is an ecosystem. The only reason we took that long to jump into digital out of home is because of the reluctance from the external forces. But we were the first ones to get the digital permissions in Mumbai. And the reason being because we backed it with data. We showed the policymakers how digital could change many things, how it can be integrated, how it can be adapted. Digital is the way. Digital is the way. It's already here. And we're more than excited. I feel like my journey has just begun. I've been waiting for this day and time because now is the time when consolidation can happen. Now is the time when the greatest minds can come together and project what is the need of the brand, the need of the audience, and the need of the product. So this is how it can be synchronized. And synchronization, as a yogi, I like to be synchronized and synchronize all aspects of anything. And that's when you feel centered, right? So our industry will be a lot more centered. The pulse of the industry will start to beat together because of the standardization, because now the entire focus will change. And those who will come with that change, those who will flow with that change, are going to be the forerunners. And we are looking at working with the best minds, the best thoughts, the ones that have a very clear fundamental understanding and who understand the power, the fundamental power of out of home, because it's an unswitchable medium, right? And we know that, we know it, but we haven't utilized it. So far, we haven't utilized that large expanse, that grandeur expanse right in front of your eyes. But now we will do it. And it's instant. That's the best part. You can think it, you can create it, and you can present it.
Excellent, Junaid. With the changing times, OOH is also coming out of its own silo, so to say. And in this age of integrated communications, first of all, are you looking at any kind of a lateral expansion of Roshan Space offerings in the market, such that brands are actually able to come to you for total solutions, not just one aspect of media? And the second part of the question is that also, this is the age of data analytics. Data is the new oil, so to say. So how are you actually raising the competency of your own team to be able to meet the emerging needs of advertisers, buyers, planners?
Well, let's start from the first point, which you mentioned, how we are going to go about doing it. That's a challenge. It's difficult to find the right, you can say, talent,
right,
to move from that traditional mindset to digital mindset. Hence, we definitely we have always tried to create our own path. Mm-hmm. Whether it was traditional, instead of trying to sell the medium, we've always tried to sell innovation, right, and then the medium. So we have been preparing ourselves for this for a very long time. That's why we are called Roshan Space Ideas Magnified, because we are take an idea and we magnify it. So we always knew there will be a time when digitization is going to be at the front of out of home, and hence we have prepared. I have always encouraged my team to think as a marketer, not as a supplier, to think as a brand. And if your brand was God, where would you place it? I remember when I heard one of the gurus in marketing said, if your brand was God, where will you place it? And that just did it for me. That just did it for me until today. Whatever we do, we try to think that our brand is God and how we place it. So yeah, we are looking at many ideas. We're really looking at many complementary mediums for us to be an out-of-home, boutique out-of-home company where you have a one-stop shop for content, for space, for kind of distribution of the brand and its communication. Of course, yes, that's there. We're always looking at novelty and surprises. We will continue to surprise you. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic to hear that. I think you've got a great journey ahead of you and for your organization. Junaid, I want to come to which would be my final question. First of all, you are associated with the Outdoor Advertising Awards as the principal sponsor, and you're supporting that, and that's a great thing. So I just want to know your expectation from an event, a contest of this kind. And the second part of the question is that for quite some time we've been hearing that the creative quotient of OOH advertising or DOOH advertising must necessarily go up for a lot more brands to look at this medium with greater intent. So I'd like to have your thoughts on, how do you look at the creativity of this medium as it stands today, and what needs to be done in order to actually raise that quotient?
Well, to answer your first question, the young talent in the industry need to be able to kind of showcase their creativity. We as industry leaders should focus and give the space for young talent to kind of project their work. So that is an important aspect. I mean, I personally had faced a lot of problems when I had great ideas, when I had great thoughts of integration. Sometimes people would maybe, look at me like, what is he talking about? But when I actually did it, when we went ahead and actually did it, that's when people understood, oh, this could be done this way. But I was young. I was not, kind of taken seriously at that point in time. Hence, hence we had to continue to kind of do it ourselves, project it, show it to our audience, and then, get credibility for it. So I understand, and I don't want the young talent to face the same problems. We need to open up this industry for young talent to come in, people from across different, complementary mediums to come in and showcase their work. With digital coming in, you can bring people from different, mediums such as television, such as online digital, to bring the best out of them. So that answers your first question. The second question, I think for creativity, we need to ask ourselves, brands, all the stakeholders, brands, agencies, and media owners need to ask themselves the question, why? Why are we doing what we are doing? Okay. And that is something that's a fundamental question we need to ask ourselves as stakeholders. What is it that we want to do? Why are we here? How do we do it? Okay, and then comes what we do. So this purposeful question, very few understand the fundamental reason for everyone to do what they're doing. OH needs to ask this question. The industry leaders need to ask themselves this question. Have we done enough to be where we are? What is it that we need to go forward? Obviously, we know that the biggest and the best brands in the world are there because of their creativity, because they solve a problem for human beings. Business is about solving a problem, right? Right. If you see the origin, I look at everything, I try to understand the origin of it, yes, where it began. So what was OOH? OOH was started with an announcement. It started with announcing something to the local group or to the tribes, you can say, right? So it started with there, then came posters, then came larger posters and billboards, and now digital, right? What was it? What was the fundamental need? What was the basic need of it? To communicate something, to change a thought, right? Or to create a need, or to fulfill a need. Whatever that purpose is, needs to be clearly defined by the industry leaders. We need to create, I would personally, my vision is to create a Bible for out of home. There's no formal education for anyone who wants, like, for example, if we want to bring in people from cross, different verticals of out of home and of advertising, how do they start? How do they recognize even a size of a billboard? Like a basic understanding of size, of placement, of measurement. So we need that Bible, and we're going to create it. Before I die, I hope I can do it. But I want to create that Bible where anyone from anywhere should just be able to read it, study it, and just get into the industry. The entry barrier, we need to have certain defined metrics for someone to come in and enjoy this art and the science of it. So the art and the science needs to be amalgamated for this industry to grow. And what is growth? Growth is overall. Growth is not just in your revenue. Growth is in the understanding. Growth is in the creativity. Growth is in how deeper you go into the industry and you rise from there. I look at it that way. I look at it as a yogi sitting in, his complete, presence, trying to understand one thing at a time. The one thing. So we all need to ask ourselves, why are we in this industry? And how can we better it through bettering ourselves? Self-regulations, self-enhancements. These are things that we need to ask ourselves and deliver it. Once we deliver that, the industry will grow by itself.
Absolutely. Great thoughts, Junaid. In fact, I really hope that you will be able to, work on developing that blue book for OH advertising, much needed. And I'm sure you'll be able to do that much sooner than what you suggested as a time frame.
Well, I'm just saying it because we've been in this industry for 43, 44 years now. My father started my company when I was born, and he named it after my mother, Roshan. So there's an emotional attachment. We've taken it up on ourselves to kind of make sure that we set the benchmarks, and we have done it, and we will continue to do it. It's not just about revenue for us. Revenue just follows if you do the right thing. So yes, we have my father created this industry, and I want to take that forward.
Wonderful, Junaid. One final question. I thought I had asked you the final question, but an additional thought came to my mind, which I'd like to have your views on that, is that you touched upon creativity, but there's also the other aspect of OH playing an instrumental role in beautifying cities. One of the biggest problems that OH has faced thus far is, people talk about clutter and all of that. But on the other side, OH has got this wonderful opportunity of beautifying cities as well. So, if you can quickly tell me if Roshan Space is looking at anything like that.
Well, that's what we've done in the last 3 years. We took the time in the pandemic to beautify 3 locations. Okay. If you see on Mahalakshmi, our signature set of 7 billboards called Edge 7 Surround has completely transformed the landscape of Mahalakshmi. They've had about 17 billboards built over the last 10, 15 years. We completely eradicated that, and we created 7 iconic billboards that create a completely different experience in the environment. Because that's when you're driving on the Mahalakshmi station now, all you see is those beautifully faceted. It's based on a facet of a crystal, the design of the billboard, and that's what you see. It's a completely different experience. So that we've done that. We've also done that with Bandra Focal, which is the largest billboard of Asia. There were about 9 billboards back to back, all cluttered in a swamp for 15, 20 years. We completely, again, eradicated that in the pandemic, and we created one mega structure. It was a mega project of 700 tons of steel we used, 58 meters, and we created one special, billboard over there. We just completely changed the environment. And now we're coming up with Prodigy is our initiative in digital out of home. And this is a complete new network, which is inspired by the design of an iPad. Those billboards, it's a flagpole, 20 flagpoles on the Western Express Highway, which is going to completely change your experience while you're driving on the Express Highway, Western Express Highway. So everything we do is to challenge the status quo. And we will continue to do that, and we will definitely be basing it around beautification of the city. Beautification, communication, impact, and engagement. That's what we're going to do, and we're doing that.
Wonderful, Junaid. It's very, very exciting to hear about all the different initiatives that you have taken and how Roshan Space is really playing that leader in this particular space. So let me, on behalf of Media for Growth, wish you all the very best, and also looking forward to meeting you at the Outdoor Advertising Convention.
Well, I'll leave you with the last thing. I mean, that I have to say. I think OSCE is a great platform. If it wasn't for you, I mean, there is no other that presents OH in a better way than you have, and you've stuck by it. You've gone through hard times in the pandemic. You've stuck by, and I really appreciate this platform for being what it is today. And I know it's not easy to continuously keep going with it. And I am extending my full support to OSCE, and I look forward to some amazing creative work and the judges to animate their thoughts into the OSCE and see what comes out of it. We want to see really good, competitive, award-winning campaigns across the city being amplified in OSCE.